No, stop. Get down. As you were, there are no officers here. I guess news made its way here already, but you're all missing some key information. Yes, as of about 15 to 20 minutes ago, I was made acting IC for Aquila platoon. But no, they haven't given me any bars or anything like that, thank God. I'm still also in charge of 1-1, so we've got a bit to go over logistically, let alone discussing the tactical and geopolitical nightmare this little trip to the Med has become. To start with, Stratis was rough. Sum total, we've lost nigh on 40 men for a few square kilometers of Greek dirt. While we've definitely given just about as good as we've got, we now have the opportunity to improve. For a start, we're going to be reorging our squads, cutting the bloat and shortening us down a bit into 2 more concise teams per squad. The intention behind this is to have Alpha act as a supporting element, with Bravo as a more direct action force. Both teams are to be assigned 1 grenade launcher, 1 DMR, 1 MMG or LMG, and 1 piece of medium or heavy AT. We still have way too many of those RPG-26s, so if you have the space for it, be sure to grab one. With any luck, this should tighten the squads a bit and leverage our training, equipment, and experience over the AAF, and, well, whatever else we'll be dealing with, but that's for later. Speaking more on equipment, we've held up about half our end of the bargain with the Americans, and they're happy with our performance. As such, their armorers have sent over some supplies. The boys back home are having some fruitful talks with Lockheed Martin and the like, but until those iron out, we get some new goodies. No, Bravo, no Camaros yet. I know. You'll have to contend with longer barrels for our rifles, more scopes, and by my count one of the more important ones, ATAC systems. Since we're working with the Americans a bit closer on Altis than on Stratis, they want us all in the same systems, namely comms and Blue 4 trackers, both of which should lead to greater support from them once their ROE opens up. I know I'm excited about that last one, but of course it's the least guaranteed. We'll have to see what they've got to spare. Another important thing we've got are gas masks and Seaburn suits. American SOF have done some deep strikes and come into contact with chemical weapons. As of now, we are MOP 0. Keep gas masks in your kit and a set of Seaburn gear nearby. CLS and medical bags will have atropine on hand. If it needs to be administered, try to have an NCO do it at least, but if you're exposed to anything in the Iranian playbook worse than tear gas, it's better to have shittily applied atropine than die. We've confirmed the presence of sarin gas, but chlorine and lewisite are not off the table yet. For those of you who don't know, all of these can be deployed from artillery or IEDs, and only chlorine is visible, being a bright green or yellow. Everything else is colorless. If you see explosions anywhere with no obvious effect, call gas and suit up. It's better to be safe than sorry about this. I'm sure I don't need to remind you all about what happened at Girna. After one hell of an IDAP, UN, and internal investigation, the entire 23rd complement here has been cleared. Duty rosters, body cams, and the like place all of the 23rd exactly where they should be when the people of Girna were executed. As of yet, no official fingers have been pointed, but just about everyone knows who's responsible for this one. The presence of the PLA on Stratis was a shock. So far, neither the CIA nor our boys at the Livonian Analysis and Intelligence Agency can imagine a reason as to why they would be there at that time and place to do anything but frame us for the massacre and try to gain justification for further involvement on Altis. I'm not sure if we got into Girna ahead of their schedule or just on time, but our ability to keep them out of the crime scene in combination with their detailed information on the events of the massacre has definitely helped kill their credibility on the matter. I'm sure you're all curious as to who's the mastermind behind this. Well, let me introduce you to Major Po Fu Shen, ranking PLA officer in the AO, rumored Viper operative, rising star, CCCP darling, and someone I think will be a thorn in our side for quite a while. Fucker's got enough commendations to make a North Korean general blush, and it seems like he's earned every single one of them. Myanmar, Tambela, there's even a few rumors about him getting up to no good in Africa and South America. Wherever the PLA is trying to stir shit, he shows up in records and rumors with a big stirring stick. If he's smart enough and we're unlucky enough, I could see him getting some political appointments and having some big sway in the future. And as luck would have it, this isn't the first time we've seen him. I don't know how many of you were around for the early days of the Civil War, but things were a bit different back then. More specifically, China and Russia weren't exactly as friendly as they are now, with China going as far as giving us weapons and some advisors to train our boys on them. The officer in charge of the Handover and Advisor program? One Lieutenant Po Fu Shen. As of now, our boys in Laya haven't made any connection between his presence back in the day and now, but it's known that we've got history. Major Shen's, really CSAT's, weapon of choice to make things more complicated for us is exactly what we saw attacking Girna. Gray Men. Modeled after the little green men of the Crimean War back in 14, professional soldiers are discharged from their parent nation, supplied with peer and or comparable equipment, and sent in to operate full-scale warfare without tying the conflict back to their homeland. At least not in any way the Hague can track. Is it bullshit? Yeah. Is it a war crime? Also yeah. Will anyone do anything about it? Aside from us having to kill them all, no. It's a perfect loophole in international law that I don't think we'll see fixed in our lifetime. We've already seen Chinese troops, and we know half a squad of ours is equal to 100 of theirs. But that's not the majority of what we've got to deal with. Due to their proximity, Iran's been supplying most of the troops for this one. Their Grey Men have been bolstering the fighting down in Kavala and stalling the Americans out in the city. They haven't brought much in the way of heavy modern equipment, and what little they did was decked by those SOF guys from before during some deep penetration strikes. But I wager we'll still see some T-55s, BMP-1s, and 2s on occasion. At this point beyond bodies, they're mostly bringing in artillery and shaheeds, so we'll still have to watch our heads. As things stand, the AAF have been mostly coming up from the southern end of Kavala, with the Iranians making up the bulk of the northern flank. The Americans have been making a good account of themselves thus far, running what I've been calling hockey shifts. Quick little engagements, maybe 5 minutes, then they're rotated off for another squad to get stuck in, then repeat. It's been a slow fight, but it's a pretty smart way to get everyone some trigger time while keeping themselves fresh and tiring the AAF and their allies out. We, on the other hand, are going to switch things up. Full frontal assault. The AAF and Iranians have gotten used to these quick little engagements, and since we can't run our assigned counterinsurgency in the northwestern mountains till Kavala and its suburbs are clear, we're breaking through Agliokori as a platoon, while the Marines make a similar attempt in the south. We're not going to get any rest here. The second we're off the boats, we're moving. ASLs and CTLs, get your teams geared up and ready to disembark. Squad leads on me. Let's figure out how we're going to clear this one.